The heartbeat of accountability of maternal death is no blame, no shame. You don't name the person or a person who you think had caused the death of the woman, or you blame somebody for the death of the woman. If that is taken away, we will never achieve accountability in maternal death. Got me. I have experienced it as the chairman of the MPDSR.
The audio you just heard is from Dr. Aminu Magaji. He is the chairman, State MPDSR Committee in Niger State.
Sorry. What's MPDSR?
Okay, you already started attacking me. This is too early.
I'm just asking because, the name of the show is Break It Down, so please.
Okay, agreed. In the spirit of breaking things down. So MPDSR actually means Maternal and Perinatal Death Surveillance and Response. Yeah.
Okay. What's that about?
So it's essentially, you know what? We have people in the room today who are going to be experts, who are going to help us do what? Break it down. So
break it down.
Great. We do have two wonderful guests in the studio today with us. Can they please introduce themselves? I'm going to start with you, lovely lady on my right.
Hello, my name is Onyedikachi Ewe. I'm Senior Programs and Advocacy Manager at Nigeria Health Watch. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very serious.
Sounds very serious, you're right.
Yeah.
And we have another guest on my left.
The unserious one.
I wouldn't say that.
I didn't say that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bunmi Oyebanji, and I'm Program Manager at Nigeria Health Watch.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
This is episode 2 of the Break It Down podcast.
Yay.
Chibike.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Of course, ever ready.
Excellent.
Been ready since yesterday. Because really, this is an important conversation. Yeah. When you talk about women giving birth and women, because it's a thing of joy. I guess if we ask, the four of us here now, if we can, just without thinking too much, recall someone we know who has lost their lives, maybe while giving birth.
Yeah.
I'm sure 1 or 2 names will come to mind.
This year alone, 2 names.
Wow.
Come to the front.
This year alone?
I know 2 women who have lost their lives. Wow. Do you know, can we please start off the conversation by asking, I guess, what MPDSR means and what MPCDSR means? So, Kachi?
Yeah.
Could you please run us through what MPDSR and MPCDSR mean?
Okay, MPDSR, like Chibike has already rightly mentioned, is Maternal and Perinatal Death Surveillance and Response. Now, there was this push for it to be MPCDSR, to also include the child component. So just the way we have maternal, neonatal, and child health, when you talk about MNCH, MPDSR was the whole concept of maternal death accountability, or the review for the reason for a maternal death was there was a proposal for this also to include the child death surveillance response. So that's where we have the MPCDSR. Yes, but as we have it today, that bill passed the second reading, right? Bunmi?
Yes, it did.
But
in the last administration,
not adopted into law, or it was not assented into law by the outgone administration.
Okay.
And before we go into the bill and the importance of the bill, you asked what is the whole concept
MPDSR
about, and we are breaking it down. So I might not just go into definitions, but it's the whole idea of identifying a a maternal death, when a mother dies from pregnancy-related causes. She's pregnant, she just had a baby, or during delivery, any death that happens around that pregnancy, labor, post-delivery journey is a maternal death. And MPDSR is saying, let us identify this death, notify authorities about this death,
important,
and also determine the causes. Why did the woman die?
True. Yeah.
Okay, so from the research and from the report that we worked on at Nigeria Health Watch, what are some of the reasons why women are dying giving birth?
So we went to 6 states and we found out, or we actually had select communities in those states, and we, went to the communities themselves. We went to the health facilities within those communities, and at the state level, we also, spoke to the state level officials and all that. And, from this 18-month period, it spanned from January 2019 to June 2020. So during this time, we, found out that we have particular reasons why women are dying. And for these reasons, they are usually, there's what you call social determinants, of health. I know we hear things like sociocultural beliefs, religious beliefs, how this impacts, maternal death, because you never realize until you, come face to face with these people in these communities. These things impact, women's health-seeking behaviors, women's access to care, and, their demand for care even. So at the end of the day, we found out that, women are dying from postpartum hemorrhage, which is the leading cause of maternal deaths in Nigeria, according to or based off of our findings, community-based inquiry. Women are dying from postpartum hemorrhage, from high fever, from different things, obstructed labor and other reasons. So these are the reasons why women are dying, both women in communities and, in health facilities also. These are the reasons why women are dying while giving birth.
Have there been any, sorry
yeah,
to
it's
cut you
okay.
off. Have there been any steps taken to mitigate any of these reasons why women are dying? So PPH, for example, postpartum hemorrhage, is something being
Sorry
done?
guys, postpartum hemorrhage is bleeding.
Yeah.
In simple words, breaking it down, it's bleeding. Excessive bleeding, yes. Excessive bleeding, yes. So when a woman, bleeds excessively after giving birth, yes. So that's postpartum hemorrhage.
Yes. So my question, what was it? Yes.
Sorry.
Has anything been done on like the, I guess, state level or national level to mitigate PPH, right, from killing women who are giving birth in the country?
Yeah. So before I'm sure Kachi will have something to say about that, but before she does that, I think it was in 2016. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If someone can check it, can look it up. The then governments launched the NEMCHIK and the SEMCHIK. So basically, NEMCHIK is National Emergency Maternal and Child Health program, and SEMCHIK at the state level too. So basically, the reasons for this were, at the national level and at the state level, we've already discovered that, these are the leading causes of maternal deaths in Nigeria, PPH being the leading one, according to, or based off of, research and, very recent research. So we are saying, these bodies or these agencies are there, but there's also LEMCHIK, local governments. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So the government actually puts,
at all levels.
Yes, at all levels. The government actually puts, structures in place to ensure that, at every point in time, there is feedback given from whether the community, the health facility, the state level, back to the local government, back to the state, back to the national level, to say these are the reasons why women are giving birth, and these are the recommendations for action. But how, to be honest, SEMCHIK, LEMCHIK, NEMCHIK, I don't know, but nowadays it's like it's almost gone silent. What has been the result over the last few years? What have they gotten? Have they been able to, influence or, do something to ensure that these deaths are reduced after the feedback has gotten to them? What actions are they taking? What recommendations are they actually, owning to say, these are the actions that we're going to take and this is how we're going to reduce, postpartum hemorrhage and the other causes of maternal deaths. And you also alluded to, a woman's access to care. There's something that we call the 3 delay model. The first delay, at the family or the home, the household level, is the woman able to, seek care. So seek care in the essence of, is her husband, in quotes, allowing her to go to the hospital? Are her mother or her mother-in-law or her grandmother allowing her to go to the hospital? And the second delay, when they allow you eventually, if they allow you eventually, from the point of your house to where the hospital is, what's the level, like what's the how are you able to, reach the hospital?
Do you have roads?
Exactly.
Do you have vehicles?
Yes, that's it.
Transportation.
Are there good roads? Are there transportation mediums, that you can use? And then the third level, by the time you eventually get to the health facility, are they saying doctor is not around? There's no drugs.
Care.
Exactly, the actual care, the actual delay. That's a delay women face. They'll say there's no doctor, there's no nurse, no drugs, no this one, no bed.
Officer in charge,
and these three delays, exacerbate a woman's care, and at the end of the day, you see it's worsening maternal health outcomes or leading to the highest tragedy, death. At the end of the day.
But back to the bill, quickly, Kachi. What is the current status now? Where are we with it? Because really, this is something that should happen. This is something that should be in place. What do we need to know? Because at the end of the day, we want people to also know that this is how things are. We want fellow Nigerians to know so they can join us in this advocacy. Nigeria Health Watch, yes, we are advocating, but we can't do it alone. So can we, bring us up to speed where we are with that bill.
Actually, sorry, before you speak about the bill, I would like you to give like a brief introduction to the bill. Does a bill exist?
Exactly. And why the bill?
Exactly. Why the bill?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a bill that it's to enforce the implementation of this maternal and perinatal death surveillance and response. And the importance of this bill is that it will enforce guidelines for the effective implementation. Let me just break it down that way,
Break it down.
especially at the community level where majority of the deaths take place, and as well as those maternal deaths. So the facility deaths, could be accounted for, but at the community, who is asking questions, who is giving responses, who is reporting these deaths. But we know that when there's a bill that has been passed into law, these things will be enforced and now legalized.
Which
so
is very
that
important.
anyone who is now not following the guidelines will be committing a crime.
Yeah, you're going against the law.
Because what we're saying here is that we want to know the reason why women are dying so that we can use this evidence to inform improvements in quality care for mothers. So that's what the bill is going to do for us. But at this stage now, the bill hasn't been passed into law. So our advocacy is that, please, policymakers, pass the bill. So we want...
Yes.
Wow, that's a good... Like, Kachi, you just gave us an idea. Hashtag pass the bill.
Yes. we want them to prioritize this because it's going to strengthen maternal health outcomes for all of us. And this... healthcare for mothers is everybody's business.
It really
Whether
is.
You're a woman or not.
A
because
man.
if you're a man, you have a sister.
It's not even that. You have a wife who could lose her life potentially while giving birth.
It should be enforced. And then urgent implementation of the bill will also boost efforts for accountability. So anyone who is not responding to why did this woman die? What are the reasons? The events surrounding her death we'll have questions to answer.
It must be investigated.
Will be investigated, and also is this what I'm looking for?
Find
be disciplined. That's it.
Penalized?
I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think they'll be penalized. Like, are you saying like the health facility will be?
No. Anyone who is not providing information.
Okay.
As to what led to the death of this woman.
Okay.
So they
can be held accountable.
Exactly, something like that. That's what I was looking for. But it still hasn't come. So if there's a bill, then we know that this thing is within a legal framework now.
Yes.
So everyone has that legal framework guiding the implementation of MPDSR.
Brilliant, truly. Because women dying while giving birth, top 10 fear for me.
It shouldn't be a norm.
And truly, that fear came out very strongly in our Why Women Are Dying report. Because most of the women, they just had this, they mentioned it, that it's the God factor. Their faith is their strong belief for surviving delivery.
Which it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I remember one of the tweets.
If you trust your health system,
exactly. I remember one of the tweets that were coming out.
Going to have babies, and no woman should die while giving birth.
One of the tweets that was coming out around that time when this report was released was that pregnancy is not a disease. It's not an illness.
It's not a death sentence.
It's not a death sentence.
So you are pregnant. Yes, you go to the hospital, you deliver, joyfully, you carry your baby home. So it shouldn't be something that you go in and you are thinking, 50-50. It shouldn't be so.
I may come out, I may not come out alive. I may come out alive, I may not come out alive.
Honestly. So back to like the conversation we were having in the beginning, where Kachi asked if anybody, or was it you, Chibike, that asked if we know anyone who has died while giving birth? I know we have a few stories. I know Bunmi has a few stories.
Definitely.
From the report. So you mind sharing some of those experiences that you found while during that research?
Yeah. I know like everyone has heard it, following from our experience on the field. When I came back, I started giving stories about, this person, that person. Like, there are a lot of stories from women in local communities, People in local communities have seen women come and go, women die after like one woman after the other, dying while giving birth. And there was this thing that we noticed, with every, and this is why I'm so glad that we went with that strategy. We said we even said it earlier, we went to 6 states. So we chose 1 state in each political zone.
Okay.
So the essence of this was for us to see how this 1 state will kind of give us a glimpse into what happens in the rest of that zone. Kind of give us a glimpse into, the outcomes from that zone. So we find out that in the Southwest is, like even if, at the end of the day, women are dying from the same reason in all these zones or from the same causes. But in the Southwest, there's this belief. In the Southeast, they have their own. In the Northwest, in the Northeast, in the North Central, they have their own. In Lagos State, we went to one of the very popular suburban areas in Lagos State. And there's this thing about, when a woman dies while she's giving birth, that means she was unfaithful to her husband.
Wow.
Yes,
so
like
wild.
It's such a strong belief. So we heard the story about Bolanle, like that's actually her real name. Her elder sister had actually died while giving birth, and they had told them that it's because she was unfaithful to her husband. That was why she died while giving birth, and she died in the hands of an unregulated or an unregistered traditional birth attendant. Yes. So it was Bolanle's turn to be pregnant and to, give birth and all that. So, Bolanle, she eventually went into labor. And while she was in labor, it's now progressed into obstructed and prolonged obstructed labor. And then eventually she gave birth, thankfully, Guess where she gave birth? She gave birth in a faith-based center. And this is one of the, commonalities that we found in the Southwest. Many women. It's also common in other areas of the country, but, in the Southwest, in Lagos, I don't know why, I don't know how that happened, but, it's quite common to have people give birth in faith-based centers. I don't want to mention particular ones, but, generally in faith-based centers. So after she gave birth, she started bleeding excessively. And then instead of them taking her to the hospital, they started praying. They started praying, and they started praying. Eventually, Bolanle died.
I mean, they could have prayed on the way to the hospital, no?
It's like, obviously, Captain Obvious. But just like we said, we were speaking about the whole, like, it's not about, saying that, prayers don't work, or prayers work, or prayers don't work, prayers work. This is someone bleeding excessively, What you should be focused on is,
solution.
Yeah.
Solution.
A solution to that excessive bleeding.
So Bunmi has another story to share from that, given why women are dying reports. You could also share that. Because like you said, the numbers, when we put out these numbers, sometimes we forget the human faces behind the numbers. So it's important to also put them out there so people get to understand.
Yeah, so this actually happened in the north, as one of the northern states. So this was Fatima. She was 24. She was 24 years old. She had 2 boys, and then she was pregnant for a girl. She was really excited, after having 2 boys. I'm going to have a girl finally. And her husband was a trader. So he used to trade in the local markets, in their market there. And, the plan was for her to give birth at home. That was the common thing in her, like among her family members, her community. Her sisters had done that, her cousins had done that, her mothers, her grandmothers, they had done that, been there, done that, and it's her turn. Why would it be any different? And then she went into labor normally in her when she was 38 weeks, and then time passed. The labor graduated into prolonged obstructed labor. Just like the previous story I even said. And then they realized that nothing is happening, like lots of hours. Like I can't remember how many hours they said. Eventually, they decided to refer her to a health facility. So they were to take her to the primary healthcare center in their community. However, there were no vehicles around. So I don't know what happened that day. The usual keke, whether it was keke, whether it was a wheelbarrow, whether it was bike, none of them was available. And it was at the dead of the night. That was the problem. So while trying to, see how they can take her to the hospital and how she could, be revived, they ended up giving her herbs. Before you know it, she started throwing up. She started, convulsing. She was even convulsing. Anyway, they said after 14 hours, by the next morning, she had died.
Wow.
So sad.
Yeah. She had died.
Like Kachi said, just one too many. I mean, we can't keep hearing these stories. And really, that's why we need to keep pushing as advocates, but also why we're happy to do this podcast, to break these things down. So you join us in demanding, in asking, what is the status of the MPDSR bill? When is it going to be passed? Are we not valuing our women enough? So please, as you listen to this, share, and also share your thoughts with us. And in closing, I just want to, something comes to mind, something I saw somewhere about accountability.
Yeah.
And that's, pretty much what we've been saying since. So accountability, the person said, is not something we do out of the, our own volition. We don't do it, by default, we don't want to be accountable. So it has to be someone demanding for that accountability. It has to be someone saying, you are supposed to do this, or this is how the rules say, or the law says we should do this. So why are we not doing this? So that's why the MPDSR is important, for us to start asking, why are women dying? And from that, say, how can we prevent it from happening? Till next time, I am happy to have been on this show today with our 2 lovely guests.
Thank you. Next time we'll discuss another aspect of maternal health that would cheer us all up, right?
Yes.
Because you guys are all
gloomy.
I'm not going to lie. I feel a bit down at the moment, but these are the sort of conversations that will
difficult conversations.
That will hopefully spur action, positive action. Right. So as Chibike has said, please, as you're listening, please share your thoughts via the WhatsApp voice notes detail in the description. join us, do more research on your own. I personally encourage people who listen to this podcast to do more research on their own and then join us in advocating for better maternal health outcomes for all Nigerian women. So in closing, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. You can get this podcast anywhere that you listen to your regular podcast. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that. Follow us on social media.
Amazon.
Follow us on social media. Until next time, I am Asari Ndem.
Thank you so much for being on the show, please.
Thank you, everyone. Till next time, I'm Bunmi. I hope to be here again.
Yeah, sure. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Kachi. You guys said my introduction was serious. Oh.
I still remain your co-host, Chibike Alaboso, on the Break It Down podcast.
Bye.
Bye.